students ask us questions and we are bound to answer them. So when we come across the phenomena of engagement of the citizens on the internet, what happens? So I've tried to explain that there are some challenges to the existing political communication strategies, and they come in different forms. There is a wide array of literature even in the academic field right from 2016 onwards, which belongs to the field of media studies, communication and political theory and sociology. But I draw my insights from what the British sociologist Anthony Giddens and of course the Canadian communication theorist Marshall McLuhan have commented on. So my paper largely focuses on how do citizens who are otherwise called as netizens engage on the internet, and how do we describe what is happening on the internet. That is something we cannot ignore. So in my paper I have described that there is free will, and at the same time there is a kind of anarchism which exists in this space, and what are the kinds of challenges. So the focus of my paper is not national, like we have seen in the last one day and in the morning session. There is a lot of discussion on the national level politics in India, but mine is more general, and it talks about the international level of politics. Why did I choose this? Because this is the level at which we see all of this happening. So in my paper I have described about 2024, which is also the election year for many of the nations in the world. And I have explained how there has been a kind of crisis in different countries where you see the resignation of the top leaders, and a lot of this crisis comes from the discontentment that is visible in how citizens, otherwise whom I call netizens, how they are engaging on the internet. So what are the kinds of challenges? So I begin with the first challenge, that is ecological polycrisis. So another important thing I want to talk about in my paper is what are the counter narratives, and this comes again as an interdisciplinary field of study. And why should we talk about counter narratives? Because primarily in this paper I have used it because they seek justice, and in that connection I want to talk about the challenges. So the first challenge is ecological polycrisis, and this term is used to refer to the interconnections between global crises. We can see that the scale at which environmental disasters are unfolding worldwide, it requires the immediate attention of everybody, every one of the people and the nations. So we know that even the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, how they are working together. But I use this example of ecological polycrisis, which says that if you are claiming success in the political campaigns, then the success of the political campaigns will be challenged by, number one, this kind of a phenomenon, that is the ecological polycrisis. And we know that when Greta Thunberg, she stood up and she protested, it was a shout out for governments and humanity to wake up and act on climate change issues. So if we have been closely following all the COP25 and 26 events, we see that this challenges the credibility of whatever you want to claim through the success of political campaigns. So the second thing that I have written about is the war. That is the ongoing wars in Ukraine and the Gaza war and civil war in other parts of the world. So the scale of human suffering and the loss of lives is also something which calls for greater clarity on how world leaders tackle conflict and war. And no matter how strong political campaigns are, and the efficacy of these campaigns will be challenged by the narratives on war and the call for immediate action. So this is the second challenge I have raised. Yes, I conclude. And the third one is the hashtag MeToo movement, which is a very unique case of how a social movement on the internet, it challenged many things. Is the government really doing what it has promised to do? And it was a tweet that sparked the social media phenomenon that raised awareness and gave voice to survivors and led to sweeping cultural and workplace changes. And there are a couple of other challenges, but due to shortage of time, I just mentioned them. The next one is disease, pandemic and epidemics. So the COVID-19 pandemic put every country and every government to test, and the test and the challenge was not merely handling the pandemic, but taking accountability for the consequences that followed, including death and losses. So the former American president, Joe Biden, on the last day in office, he granted preemptive pardon to Dr. Anthony Fauci to guard him. And he was using his extraordinary powers. So the argument here is that pandemics wreaked havoc on people and governments, and political campaigns face challenges posed by such challenges. And we also know the other example where we saw the resignation of Mr. Boris Johnson, who was accused in the Partygate scandal. And several other aspects of the pandemic I have discussed, but due to shortage of time, I am not getting into that. Then the miscellaneous factors. So what about the rise of trade wars and the tariffs, the embargoes, the sanctions and the status quo on nuclear arsenal? So, and of course I have included about the defunct nature of the UNSC. So I feel that while you can claim that political campaigns lead to some kind of electoral success, but many of these challenges will continue to challenge the narrative. And on a concluding note, I would like to say that the netizen engagement is rampant, it is reactionary and sadly sometimes reductionist at times. And also, although there is a heightened activity of exchange of comment and response on the internet in the virtual world, yet in the real world the issues remain as standalone challenges that never seem to go away. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. We'll take questions the last because one or two questions I can take. One question or two questions I can take. If any comment or any question, you can make.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohammad Tahir Singh Shiraz. The previous topic is from engagement to manipulation, the legal and ethical dimensions of social media and Indian politics. So, before getting in detail regarding this topic, I'll just give you a small brief on what is communication or what are the traditional ways of the communication. The first, the newspapers were there. And then the radio came in, and after that the television came in. But whenever the new technology was introduced, people thought that the old one will be obsolete and nobody will be using it. The radio will be there. The moment television came, they thought that no more television, newspapers or radio will be used. But after television, internet came in. So internet played a very important role. It became an extension of our reality. where the media also had different platforms like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Sorry, not LinkedIn for this, it is used for professional, YouTube. So in this, before internet or the social media, the communication was only one-way communication, where a newspaper was published, viewers used to read, and they did not have an opportunity to immediately comment on it or give feedback on it, just like even for radio or even for television. But the social media, it was a two-way communication platforms where instantly viewers could comment on it, give their reviews or interact on a particular topic instantly. That was the power of internet. And the similar, that's how people started connecting with each other worldwide. There were limitations earlier. With the internet, that's the capacity or the capability provided to the people or the netizens to communicate instantly worldwide. In a political scenario, if I remember, in 2011, there was Egyptian revolution, in which social media was used to a very successful, in a very successful way, where the masses in Egypt, they were able to highlight a particular event, coordinate, conduct rallies against, and there was a downfall of a political power in 2011. That's how at the same time in India also, Lokpal bill was happening. There were a lot of rallies going on talking about how Congress is corrupt, for example, and what they are doing, and we need a change, we need a Lokpal bill. But the moment political motivation came out, the political interest of Arvind Kejriwal came in, that's when it was not that impactful. Then in 2014 and 19, the political parties were very successful in using these tools. Now the question is, if you look at the traditional medias like newspaper, radio, or television, they were editors of what kind of a news or what kind of entertainment is broadcasted. Are they within the framework of law? For example, for television, there was Prasar Bharati, Doordarshan was there, then came in the privatization of television, and they had their own interests or ideas or motivations for the private news channels to come up with. Yesterday I attended morning, I missed some of the sessions, but what I think is most of the topics which I wanted to share were covered, but I would like to talk on troll farms which we use. Especially the troll farms are the entities that flood social media with provocative content to manipulate public sentiment, backed by political corporate entities. So troll farms are nothing but mobile phones, different kind of mobile phones which are used not by actual people, but they are programmed. So you can see like 100 different mobile phones having different names, okay, and they are interacting. So how a topic is trending on Twitter is, they'll see an example, for example, 1 lakh users of Twitter are talking about a certain event. Okay, the social media analyzes that, the algorithm analyzes that, and then it comes up that this is trending. So to become trending, they need users of a particular quantity, like a lakh people, lakh users or 2 lakh users. So when they identified that this is how a particular topic or can be trending on Twitter, then this is what they have come with, troll farms. So that's how they use troll farms to bring particular topic to become very popular on social media and divert the whole narrative. So for example, China state-sponsored troll farms generate approximately 488 million fabricated posts annually to suppress dissent and divert attention from sensitive issues. This is again reported in foreignpolicy.com. It's a news website. And the impact of algorithms, amplified content overwhelms genuine discourse, leading algorithms to prioritize and promote fabricated narratives. So this is again distinguished propaganda from digital to social media. It's a second international handbook in internet research which was there. Then sock puppets and bots are used. Soft puppets are fictional online personas created to influence discussions and amplify specific narratives. Engagement strategies mobilize users through hashtags, memes, and discussions to create the illusion of organic support. So these false narratives, they portray it in such a way that it shows that they are actually genuine supporters are there online, and it's an organic support which is happening. Algorithmic manipulation inflated engagement like shares, comments, tricks algorithms into prioritizing fake trends. Just like I mentioned that these fake troll farms are used to, discuss on social media platforms on a certain topic which makes that topic trending. And for other users who are not part of it, for them it looks like that actually there are a lot of people who are discussing about it and this is trending. So bots are again used to automated programs mimicking human behavior, inflating engagement metrics. The role of narrative manipulation, bots like, share and comment on posts to artificially boost content popularity. For example, Russian bots during the 2016 US elections accounted for half of Twitter conversations, spreading divisive content using pro-Trump narrative, hijacking pro-Clinton hashtags. So there were hashtags, pro-Clinton hashtags, in which the bots used, they hijacked the hashtags which were there for pro-Clinton, in which the automated system was used to impact that. So the question is, again, algorithms are used for these kind of data to analyze sentiments as well. Predictive analysis is done. So the users, as a user on Facebook or Twitter, am I aware my data is being used? Or for example, if I like a political party and I'm commenting on it, does I want my data to be analyzed in such a way? Was there prior permission taken? But if in Europe, if you look at, there is a GDPR policy, General Data Protection Regulation, in which it talks about data being used for political campaigns, how ethically it has to be used, and the user has the right to give consent, allow it, and withdraw it as well. I would like to conclude.
Any question or comment?
सर ने अभी बताया था कि सोशल मीडिया में फेक पोस्ट, फेक पीआर चलाकर बहुत सारे मुद्दों को दबाया जाता है। तो अभी के टाइम में एक आपको चल रहा है कि इंडिया गॉट लेटेंट शो, उसके ऊपर आप क्या कहते हैं कि अभी की पार्टी सच में ऐसा कर रही है कि एक छोटे से जोक की वजह से बड़े बड़े मुद्दों को छुपाई जा रही है, या फिर वो डार्क जोक चला था वो सच में उतना खतरनाक था कि हमारे देश की इकोनॉमी पे खतरा बन सकता है?
हमारे देश के इकोनॉमी को खतरा है। I think he's talking about
See, again, it depends. If you look at the moment that is ongoing, but if you look at the Sushant Singh Rajput issue was there, and the suicide case was there, and then again it actually got into the politics. So as he was from Bihar, and it was used in Bihar politics, still talking about then how what happened, what police did in Maharashtra, and that's how things came up. So we don't know at this stage. I think it's too early to say how it will come up.
But it cannot be ruled out. I mean, this was a question which you have raised cannot be ruled. Any other question? Okay, thank you. Next speaker is with us, Mohammed Shahabuddin.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Department of Political Science, Maulana Azad National Urdu University, for bringing political consultants and those who are working on political consulting together. And this is a wonderful opportunity. As a researcher of political narratives, I'm very much fascinated about the evolution of political consultancy in India. So what I'm trying through this presentation is putting some inputs on and trying to connect what is happening in the ground to some kind of political theory interpretations. So the title of my presentation is Politics as a Profession, Mapping Trends in Political Consulting in India. So all of you might have seen this news. This was one of the trending news in 2024. Congress loses key strategist Sunil Kangolu shift focus from 2024 polls. It was one of the most trending news during that day. So what was who is Sunil Kangolu? I think the pronunciation is correct. People from Karnataka can correct me. So what was the normalcy that was being happening in the political spectrum earlier? So we usually know the political leaders shift from one party to another party. That create a lot of buzz in the media, lot of discussion based on that. So for instance, when Kapil Sibal quits Congress, seeks Rajya Sabha seat with SP backing. This is one of the trending news, very traditionally, all of us know that. Similarly, Delhi MLA Alak Lamba quits Aam Aadmi Party and joined Congress. So the trending of a political leader shifting one party to another party, that was the dominant news during that time. The similar way, one class is getting attention when they shift from the one spectrum to another spectrum. So what is the difference here? When Sunil switches party, he can switch his party like an employer change the company. Similarly, but in the another case, when Kapil and Alaga, when they change from the one party to another party, they need to prove that why they changed their politics. So this means that there is a rise of new class in the politics. So they are professional politicians. So what is the duty that these people do? They do plan career for politicians. They design practices for political parties. So I think a lot of discussion going. I'm just giving some interpretation because some introduction because I will give little more in detail. So many of the political consultants were giving different interpretation, just like the IPAC representative who spoke in the previous session was bringing the discussion of blue and blue ocean discussion to that. So similarly, there are dependent consultancies and independent consultancies. I'm just going quickly. One example of a independent consultancy is an IPAC, and just read the sentence that I highlighted there. Without necessarily being part of a political party. This is a highlight of this new class. They introduce the politics without necessarily being part of a political party. So so when a political party advertise their leader, what they normally do, they will show the history of their political leaders, right? Their career, their performance. What is IPAC? IPAC show profile their leaders. You could say that is IIT Kanpur, IIT Bombay, NLU Bhopal. So this is the way the leaders of this new class is being projected. So then another thing is that these figures I took from the IPAC website. These are the clients. These are the clients. But normally traditionally the people see them as a leaders, but for them this is a clients. Okay. So let's look. Another example of consultancy is a independence consultant. Is a design box. I think no one from design came for our conclave. So design box also an example of independent consultancy. This is the client's testimonial taken from their website. So because I have 7 minutes, I'm just rushing up. So another example of a dependent consultancy is National Vision Namo. They are affiliated, politically inclined. They have their own ideology they are working on. They very openly they say that we work for Narendra Modi. That is our preferences. So they are also what they are also showing up. They are showing up the background of their founders, their directors. They are from these premier institutions. They're very different from how a political leader is being profiled. So So another example that's come for a dependent political consultancies in inclusive mind, they all also very openly say that we are associated and affiliated with Indian National Congress. So let us look what these people do. All of these technical terms that you never see in the conventional political landscape. Suppose just as someone was telling like parcha, charcha, all this thing was very much dominating in the political discussion of the conventional political class. But these people speak something different: data analytics, political strategy, communication, growth and performance marketing, strategic research, campaign and operation. So the language is completely changed. Noted? So how this impacting our understanding of the politics, the way we interpret the politics. So one thing is that while political leaders were considered as a born and emerged, the consultancies proposed that they should be made and constructed. One of the fundamental change. Secondly, this I think in the previous session, Verma representing the CPR was telling like how political consultancies are taking the job of the cadres in the political parties. So it challenged the role of the political cadres in the designing the political profiles, policies, engagement of their party, and increase the role of professionals in the politics. So, as someone, I'm interested in understanding the formation of the political narratives. How the rise of political consultancies explain us to help us to explain the scholarship on political narratives. So, one of the fundamental questions in the social sciences is that does reality matters or does the representation of a reality matter? This is a very fundamental question the social science discipline is developed on that. So in conventional approach, people say that, the scholars say that reality matters and a job of a researcher is to understand what is the reality. Reality can be traced objectively if you are researchers. If you are following a typical methodologies, we can understand the reality. Right? So but critical scholarship, they say that never the reality does not matter, but the representation of reality matters. Because there is no existence of a reality, out of representation. So reality bees or reality becomes in the representation. So it is not in a some way denial of reality. For instance, in the first meeting, I think Deshmukh sir was discussing about the story of blinds and elephant. So it is not about the figure of elephant matters for the people who are touching that elephant. How I approach the elephant, that is where my relationship with the elephant in that story matters. Suppose if I am seeing the elephant just as a broom, I didn't see the elephant. While I walking through the elephant, I will hit to its body. 1 minute. Okay, that's the final session. So to explain this, the critical scholarship bring the word of discourse. What does discourse mean? Discourse mean, I think Talha is not here. The name of Talha's consultancy is Discourse. The best name I loved from all the consultancies because I'm working on the discourse. The word discourse is the political theories used to explain this phenomena. That means that meanings are formed in a relational process of significance. While political consultancies say that they construct narratives or they represent realities, it adds explanatory value to discursive understanding of the world. You know that many social scientists are here, political scientists are here. It is very hard to teach discourse. It is very hard to teach critical theory because when you say that reality does not matter, people will ask question you. But I think the phenomena of the existence of political consultancies and their working on the ground help us to explain the concept of political philosophy. I'm not reading the theoretical interpretation of what discourse mean, but I bring what Anand Tiwari showed about in his presentation as an example. For instance, this Eknath Shinde, he is imaged as a tractor, take his image as a tractor and take his image as a protector. Two states. So when Eknath Shinde was traitor, considered as a traitor for some people, he at the same time also he was a protector for some other people that moment. But what really matters, when you are changing the discourses through discursive articulation, the traitor part gets downplayed and the protector part gets highlighted. This needed a continuous articulation. For instance, when the next election comes, his image again can go back to the traitor. So it means that the reality of what Eknath Shinde is, or what Eknath Shinde's representation in the politics is, what you are discussing about him, what you are articulated about him. So finally, just few points that I would like, as someone understanding to train the development of political consultancies as a political scientist. So I would like to bring your discussion few points. I think Professor Afroz was telling like 4:30 we will have a discussion together. So one is a stakeholder criticism. Yesterday, Dr. Kushbu from TIS was raising a general criticism of the conference. What I feel like, don't we also need a politician at this conference on political consultancies? Right? So, one more minute, I will mind it. Because this is a three-persons cinema. One, we have a consultancies, and another level we have an academia. So we also need to get the input what politicians think. Do politicians really acknowledge the role of political consultancies? We need to get the input from them really. So the next question, what is the proportion of the political scientists in political consultancies? I think only one political scientist, the founders who are represented is only one was a political scientist. So why it is less? If it is less, what should the budding political scientist and curriculum designer take note about of it? Why political scientists are less in the political consultancies? What is the reason? How the curriculum need to different? I just want to add about 1 minute. Finish. Okay, last point. So last point. Do political consultants face the heat of politics? For instance, arrest, targeting by clients' opponents, is that happening? I just want to understand the political consultants' input on that. If that is happening, just like you are professionalizing politics, profession also being politicized. What is actually happening in the politics? It is being politicized also. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We wanted to listen, but the problem is that everybody has spoken very well. We wanted to listen, but we don't have time. So now it is, the house is open to question. Please.
Why political scientist is, I'm Dr. Ahmad Reza, I'm of the in University. So this conference has been organized in order to fill the gap. So I think your question is addressed in this conference because I came to know through media and other that there are more IIT and premier institutions who are involved. So I hope in the coming day, political scientists and background they will come here.
Yeah, I just want to speak on that because in the last my job, I was teaching at a Delhi SGP University. My job was designing a liberal arts program. So I was reviewing many curriculum across the world in the political science. So I came across the Manu curriculum. Then I realized that is Manu FIUP program. So that is completely conventionally different. So then I was looking like who is the people behind this. Then that is the way I reached to Dr. Afroz. So I appreciate the wonderful work you people are doing. That is especially the SCC program, Skill Enhancement Program at the Manu. Manu is very much engaged with the demand of the market in the political science.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Yes. Question or comment? Please.
सर मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूँ कि पॉलिटिकल कंसल्टेंसी की बात जहाँ तक हो रही है, लेकिन होता क्या है कि कुछ कंसल्टेंसीज अपना एरिया सर्कल बनाने के बाद फिर वो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी की तरह अपने आप को रिप्रेजेंट करने की कोशिश करते हैं। तो जो भरोसा है, जैसे हमारे बिहार में भी होता है, हो रहा है, तो जो पब्लिक का भरोसा है फिर तो वो, क्योंकि हम प्रोफेशन के वजह से हम ऑनेस्ट हो सकते हैं, लेकिन जहाँ तक हम पॉलिटिकल, अगर हम पॉलिटिक्स में आ जाए तो वहाँ पर कहाँ तक उसका ऑनेस्टी कायम रह पाएगी। मैं इसको
Yeah, I think it's very interesting to comment on that. That's why I take the question that does politician acknowledge the role of political consultancies very seriously? Because so that's a very premium question. You could see, because in the earlier, even though the chota neda, when they do something, the credit will take the highest leader. They do not share the credit with the local leaders. So that's why, but many political consultancies want to come to limelight, like just like PK, because of PK's plan was to evolve as a political consultant. Maybe he might be planning the party during that time itself. So it's like possible even political consultants can enter politics. No worries about that. It's like their freedom based on that. And another thing is that why many of people were discussing like why many young people are joining political consultancies, because they don't have a direct access to political parties of course. So let them make their way open. That's I'm very positive about that.
Thank you. I mean, they are open. They are also free to join politics. Nobody can stop them. There's no rule that will indicate that you should stop them. Anyway, I'll stop here only for this question. Now I request Subhash. Mr. Subhash, please stop. He is going to speak on political consulting in India, constituents, experience with the national, regional politics.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself Subhash from University of Hyderabad. For the today topic for presentation is political consulting in India, consultant experiences with regional and national parties in India. Meanwhile, it will open. I'll start. In the recent 2 decades, the growing role of political consultancy in India marks a critical shift in terms of how electoral strategies are crafted and executed, which reflects a broader trend of professionalization and technological integration in democratic process. Political consultancy in post-liberalization period, contributing in addressing the complexities of a diverse voter base and intensifying the competitiveness between national and regional parties. According to Amok Sharma, India's political electoral campaign environment began to evolve with the transformation of technology, which created a need for a more sophisticated campaigning strategies to navigate the increasing complexity of national and regional party dynamics. So in this light, my study tried to critically examine the varying experiences of political consultants in their engagement with regional and national parties, and tried to understand how political consultancies is shaped by in India's evolving political landscape. According to Sajanar, the consultancy field in India grew substantially after 2014 national elections, driven by the rise of digital media and social media platforms as integral components of electioneering. This period marked the formalization of political consultancies as a key component of India's electoral politics, with firms becoming pivotal in designing and executing campaigns for both regional and national parties. In India, there is distinction between regional and national parties. It's significant not only in terms of their geographical reach, but also in terms of their organizational structure, ideologies, and their campaign strategies. National parties such as BJP, Congress, and Aam Aadmi Party have a broad electoral base across multiple states, often engaging in large-scale pan-Indian campaigns that require substantial resources and extensive coordination. These parties typically rely on hierarchical structure with centralized decision-making and a top-down approach to campaign planning. The size and resources of these parties allow them to implement far-reaching strategies that target multiple demographic groups and regions simultaneously. In contrast, regional parties are more localized in their approach, with campaigns tailored to specific state issues and voter concerns. These parties tend to have more flexible structures, which enable greater autonomy for leaders. Regional parties often rely heavily on cultural identity, state-specific issues, and personal charisma of state leaders in their campaigns. The difference in organizational dynamics are crucial for understanding how political consultants interact with these two different parties. For this study, our study employed semi-structure based interview based on in-depth conversation with the 30 plus political consultants from diverse political firms. And it's also tried to analyze the data based on thematic analysis, identifying some recurring patterns that unique narratives in the consultant experiences. It also compared the experiences of national parties with the regional parties. So if we talk about our paper, it tried to assess the entire experiences of political consultant in terms of dynamics, centralization versus decentralized structure. In terms of centralized structure in party, national parties like BJP and Congress typically operate through highly decentralized framework where decision-making authority is concentrated in the central leadership. The centralized model of BJP is consistent with the Max Weber theory of bureaucracy, which poses that centralized authority ensure efficiency and predictability in large organizations. However, consultants also noted drawbacks for this strategy. For example, in Tamil Nadu, where BJP cultural and ideological position differ significantly from regional preference, consultants struggle to adapt centrally mandated strategy to resonate with the local sentiments. In terms of Congress model of centralization decision making, Congress has the structure of a centralized party but lacks the discipline. Decisions from the top are frequently contested at the state level, creating delays and confusion in executing these strategies. If we talk about the regional party like DMK, YSRCP, TMC operate within more decentralized framework, granting significant autonomy to state and local units. This structure allows greater flexibility in tailoring campaign strategy to address localized issues, but it also introduces challenges related to coordination and consistency. The second theme is about campaign focus, localized issue versus pan-India narratives. So there is a tension between local and national narratives. For example, political consultancies often navigate the tension between tailoring campaigns to address localized issues and crafting broader narratives to resonate across a diverse electorate. For national parties, political consultancies struggle to align state-level promises with national agendas. A consultant from Design Box working with the Congress observed localized promises often contradict the central manifestos. For instance, state-level promises for subsidies can clash with the national commitment to fiscal prudence, leading to a strategic recalibration. In terms of regional party like DMK, YSRCP, TMC primarily emphasize local issues, reflecting their focus on addressing specific state concerns. Political consultancy working with these parties highlight the deep integration of local narratives into a campaign strategies. For instance, an IPEC consultant working with the YSRCP in Andhra Pradesh noted that our survey indicated that rural electrification and welfare schemes had significant traction in the Rayalaseema region. We prioritize messaging around these programs, ensuring candidates were seen as problem solvers for immediate local challenges. So there is a different experience with working with regional and national party in terms of campaign focusing and designing it. Third is about resource allocation in political campaigning, difference in financial and manpower support. For national parties like BJP and Congress typically have access to substantial financial resources which enable them to undertake large-scale, high-budget campaigns. Consultants from ABM Vara Analytics noted that BJP campaigns are often characterized by their expensive outreach and advanced technological tools. One consultant observed the BJP ability to fund large-scale data analytical operations coupled with extensive advertising budgets ensure a far-reaching campaign footprints. This includes TV advertisement, digital campaigns, and physical rallies with high production values. For regional parties, like DMK and TMC also spend huge amount on campaigning and resource mobilization, but the scale is, especially for regional parties, limited. Many second-tier leadership in both the parties, especially regional party leaders, prefer operating comparatively tight budgets, often prioritizing localized strategies, while lacking the manpower scale of national parties, often rely on highly motivated local cadres. An IPAC consultant noted, working with DMK, we saw how deeply embedded the local cadre was in their communities. While the number was smaller, their influence and personal connection often outweighed the BJP large but less personal network. So in terms of challenges faced by national party consultants, a senior strategist from the Inclusive Mind says there were times when ambitious digital campaigns had to be scaled back due to budget constraints. So especially in less critical constituencies, this limited our ability to counter the BJP narrative effectively in those areas. So in terms of disparity, there is a disparity in terms of technological and financial aspect, which not only hampered the ability of political consultants, but also gave an advantage to the parties like BJP. Both national parties and regional parties dominate traditional digital media due to their substantial advertisement budget. An Inclusive Mind consultant working with Congress noted that the BJP ability to outspend us on digital, it was evident. Their presence on YouTube, Facebook, and regional TV channels often overshadow our campaigns. So the disparity between in terms of manpower and financial constraint create an uneven advantage position for the regional and national parties. So fourth theme which we have observed is cultural and ideological alignment in political campaigns. For the national parties, a consultant observed working with BJP involves embedding cultural symbolism into the campaigns. From temple visit to using Sanskrit phrases in speeches, we ensure that every aspect reflects the party cultural identity. For Congress, consultants from Inclusive Minds and Design Box emphasize that a secular and inclusive image we need to emphasize more. One consultant noted that the Congress narrative had to balance traditions with progressiveness. In terms of regional parties operate within distinct culture and linguistic context, necessitating localized adaptation for their localized narrative. An IPAC consultant working with DMK explained, DMK campaigns were deeply rooted in Tamil identity and Dravidian ideology. This required us to frame narratives around regional pride, linguistic autonomy, and social justice. The last thing, so last theme is technological integration, variation in use of digital tools and outreach methods. In terms of digital tools and outreach methods, both regional parties and national parties almost on the same ground, but they have problem in terms of internet penetration in rural areas, especially when you are campaigning in the urban focus constituency. Parties have direct connections because of internet availability, but in rural background, it's difficult to penetrate more into the constituency at micro level. So there are some challenges which are faced by the consultants. Okay, I'm concluding. Well. So the experiences of political consultants in India reveals significant divergence between their engagement with national and regional parties, shaped by structural and ideological and operational characteristics of these entities. National parties such as BJP and Congress, with their centralized hierarchies and pan-India approach strategy, provide consultants with a uniform but rigid framework. Conversely, regional parties like DMK, TMC, and YSRCP offer consultants greater flexibility to tailor campaigns to localized issues and cultural contexts. These parties operate through decentralized structure that facilitate grassroots engagement but often require consultants to navigate complex power dynamics, including factional rivalries and community-specific voter blocks.
Thank you. So Srinivas sir is not available, and your name is? What is your name? Monali is going to present. Okay, Monali, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I am going to present my paper titled Globalization and Political Consultancy, How International Trends Are Shaping Local Campaigns. Historically, political consultancy emerged as a formalized profession in the United States, where early consultants advised candidates on public relations, media outreach, and voter mobilization. By the mid-20th century, Joseph Napolitan pioneered modern political consulting, which provides strategic guidance to candidates, parties, and advocacy groups. The increased electoral competitiveness demands strategic interventions in public persuasion and campaign execution. With the intensification of globalization, the impact of political consultancies increased as service transcended national boundaries, which led to cross-border exchange of strategies, standardization of political messaging, and adoption of US-style techniques in India and Canada. This study mainly analyzes the influence of globalization on political consultancy and its impact on local election strategies. It also evaluates the effectiveness of political consultants in managing campaigns and voter behavior patterns in India, USA, and Canada. It additionally assesses whether the political consultancies services are becoming standardized globally or adapting to local political contexts. The study uses a mixed methods approach combining literature review and quantitative analysis. In the quantitative analysis part, the voter turnout data of USA, Canada and China from the past 5 elections, general elections are taken to discuss about the trends and voter behaviors. It additionally analyzes the political consultancy reports from major firms and to assess predictive accuracy and strategic influence of these firms. Coming to the literature review, foundational theories like Dawn's rational choice theory, McComb and Shaw's agenda setting theory, and Noel Newman's spiral of silence theory provide critical insights into voter behavior guiding modern consultancy practices. McChesney and Castle's theories emphasize on the globalization's role in politics, which provide on how global media networks shape political discourse across borders. However, Paul offers a contrasting view stressing on the local adaptation of global strategies, especially in India, which integrates digital outreach with grassroots mobilization, unlike the US data-driven focus. The Americanization of campaigns explored by Negrin remains a global trend with micro-targeting and digital, which focuses on micro-targeting and digital media, which becomes widespread. Scammell and Farrell's work argue that this globalization can lead to ideological convergence but risks diluting local political identities. It also evaluates the globalization's cultural impact in different countries across the world. Placer and Madeline studies emphasizes on local adaptation of global methods in USA, India and Canada, which adopt global strategies differently based on local contexts. Brocha and Howard argue that the social media in voter mobilization has a double-edged role, which means that the first role is the voter mobilization and the second is a negative one, which raises misinformation risks due to the use of social media. And in the end, it discusses about Esselman and Fran's regulatory and ethical concerns approach, which addresses ethical and legal frameworks in political consultancies. This study compares political consultancy in India, US and Canada, focusing on technological use, regulatory framework and voter engagement and outreach. Telling briefly about these three, we can say that the US leads with AI-driven analytics and micro-targeting. India mixes AI with social media-based mobilization and grassroots approach, while Canada follows strict privacy laws using more compliance-driven strategies. Regulatory framework includes PACs and super PACs which dominate US funding. India's data laws are still evolving and Canada has tight rules on campaign finance. The voter outreach also differs in the US, which focuses on digital targeting and advertising. In Canada, it is based on issue-based advocacy, which includes digital strategies and public opinion research. In India, it is a hybrid approach, which includes digital outreach and grassroots approach. Grassroots approach includes door-to-door campaigning, caste or regional-based mobilization. When we look at the graph, this is the quantitative analysis that we have done. From the past 5 general election voter turnout data, we can see that in USA there is a steady increase in the voter turnout and it peaks in 2020 elections. In Canada, there is a stable voter turnout and India sees a fluctuating voter turnout which peaks in 2014 and 2019 general elections. The study's main findings reveal distinct patterns in how globalization shapes political consultancy across US, India and Canada. In US, the use of AI-driven analytics and micro-targeting has led to highly precise voter predictions, with turnout peaking in 2020 due to polarization and digital mobilization. The US regulatory constraints have driven by PACs and super PACs, which raise concerns about data privacy. The regulatory constraints are minimal in USA. Whereas in India, it showcases a hybrid model combining Western data analytics and regional identity politics, which leverages social media tools and regional influences. The impact of globalization is evident across all the 3 countries. The US leads in exporting AI-driven analytics and digital mobilization strategies, while India adapts these methods by blending them with local outreach practices. Canada strikes a balance between both of them, aligning with a strict regulatory framework. The ineffectiveness of predictions in India is linked with the localized social political dynamics that often disrupt data models, as seen in fluctuating voter turnout in 2014 and 2019. Canada, meanwhile, adopts a more conservative approach due to strict campaign finance and privacy laws, leading to stable turnout patterns in occasional spikes like in 2015 due to youth engagement and not due to political consultancy strategies. Conclusion. Global campaign strategies are often tailored to match local laws and voter behaviors, but prediction models still face challenges due to unexpected turnout changes, especially in India's hyper-local context. Looking ahead, trends point out to more AI-driven voter engagement, tighter election laws, and a stronger focus on ethical campaigning. This opens up opportunities for further research on how to balance new technologies with voter privacy and fair elections.
Thank you very much. Since Mr. Uttu is the main author is not here, so you are ready to give the answer. So I will not take the question because the concerned person is not here. Anyway, thank you very much for today. We have now Mrs. Devi Sumayali. Please come.
Comments? Not questions, but can we give comments?
Yes, you can give a comment, please. Yes, we can give the comment.
So, thank you for your paper. It was very informative. But
thank you. So, I think what is understood by globalization also is a kind of a convergence, right? So what you presented was different case studies and different theories from different countries, which are not really talking to each other. So if when you're writing this paper or when you're formalizing this paper, it would be good if you can concentrate on things which are converging with each other, right? So in terms of electoral laws or in terms of use of AI and bring that more, because voter turnout and voter mobilization, the contexts are very different in India and in the cases in Canada, and even the regulations. In fact, even the voting system is very different in all the countries that you have mentioned, right? So I think it would be nice and it would be actually more productive rather than putting these as case studies and review of literature. If you can actually find out themes which are effective and which are talking amongst themselves. There needs to be a dialogue, right? Even if you take something like as basic as fake news and the use of fake news across different countries and how that has been used for electoral manipulation, to use a very loose term. And there have been very nice studies on that, which talk about cross-country comparisons of how effective mobilization has happened using fake news. So the paper was fine, but it was just talking a lot of things about US differently, Canada differently, India a little bit, but it was not really talking about the story of globalization. So maybe when you want to revise it and make it a formal paper, you can look into that aspect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your time. Thank you. Now I request Devi coming. Please.
Hi, actually I'm Khadija Nora. Devi Samuja is my supervisor.
Oh, Khadija Nora.
Yeah, I'm Khadija Nora. So this is our combined paper. So myself, I'm graduated from IIT Gandhinagar. I'm working at Kusar. Basically, we were talking about a lot of analogies from yesterday, like political consultants are pathologists and the academicians are the doctors. Then this research might come under biomedical engineering maybe. So the thing is, it is quite management related topic and how it can be used in political consultancy with the perspective of how Gen Z are using it. So it's a very management term which is moonlighting. So how many of you are familiar with moonlighting? I don't know. But moonlighting, I would definitely define what moonlighting is first, because moonlighting means when we are having one job, currently that is our primary job, but we are taking a secondary job outside that or multiple jobs outside that, then it is called moonlighting. So that is the moonlighting which I am talking about here. So and how Gen Z is related to this. So we know Generation Z is the newest generation or the workforce generation right now, and they have a very different attitude towards everything. Including the workforce. So how this and what we have identified is that Gen Z has a very different approach towards their work and work ethics. So and they are very digital savvy and tech savvy. So they use this technological devices, mobile phones and everything to know everything, including the political and social things. So here in this study we are using, we are looking at the work attitude of Gen Z and the pattern of their moonlighting, especially the moonlighting term or moonlighting came forward only after this COVID-19, especially in India, because we know at COVID-19 we could not get out of house, so we started to look for other opportunities, and also there were a lot of problems in the economy. So they actually the Gen Z were the people who were affected with this a lot. So they often look for a next opportunities outside their primary job, and that's why they are moonlighting mostly. So the purpose of study is how can we use this Gen Z's attitude towards moonlighting in political consultancy. It's very easy. When we are talking about Gen Z's literature review, it's the same things I have told, because they are moonlighting. Basically moonlighting, everybody do moonlight for financial gains. So here Gen Z's are also looking for the financial independence, and also some of them are looking for the fulfillment of their personal fulfillment for that matter. So the work attitudes, again I have told that point that the work attitude of Gen Z is very different when it comes to moonlighting. And also we have a concept or a common conception that Gen Z are not very socially committed, or they are not very interested in social or political discourses. But it's actually, the research shows actually a different approach, that actually Gen Zs are very interested in social and political welfare. I think one of the speaker told that how can we incorporate the youth into political consultancy? This point was raised in some panel, I guess. So the data collection was done by primary data by using in-depth methodology. Then I have also used the secondary analysis, and these are some of the key findings, which like you can see that 91% of Gen Zs are engaging in moonlighting. So let's come to the findings. So when Gen Zs are actually into moonlighting, then we can actually, they are doing it for financial stability. So we can use that in the political consultancy very much, because they have already one job and they can take another job in a political consultancy, so that they can also integrate their social and political commitment along with gaining financial gains. And also their career and skill development can also be be done, especially in the areas like IT and academia. We know these two skills are very important when it comes to political consultancy, so that also can be utilized very much. Then multitasking, and we have a different way, like we have a lot of Gen Z professionals from all across the India, so we can use all of them for with their digital skills. The political consultancy can go far beyond our expectation, and it can be a very good edge for the political consultancy. And there are challenges and ethical considerations which moonlighting agencies should consider. So I'll come to the conclusion because time is very low. This can bring about innovation in the political consultancy and also in the society and the politics in large. Engaging Gen Z is more good because the thing is they are very strong in digital media skills. So every new things they will be knowing, especially the people in IT. They can really use the real-time data. Then we also can have a diverse workforce there. From every professions they can work in political consulting if they are doing moonlighting. So moonlighting can bridge the gap of engaging the youth, the Gen Z in political consultancy. Only the ethical part should be considered. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. I think one more paper is left. Anish Akhtar. So I just one second. One question or one comment you can take. If anybody. Okay. No, we have finished it. We are not taking all. Only one comment. There is no question hour because I have taken it in the beginning. Any question? Any comment? Otherwise, okay. Thank you very much. Otherwise, it will be an injustice if I don't belong. Please go.
Thank you, my lords, and specifically Afroz sir and all the panelists, because one of the gaps in my research is that very less quantity, less established literatures are there from non-Western country. And non-Western country means that third world you can say, or developing country you can say. And all the established literatures are from Western countries. I don't say that it is specifically no literatures are there, but very less belonging to India and Taiwan and Indonesia. For that I am telling that this conference is fixing the gap of my research at least. Okay. So topic is the political campaigning strategy in the modern politics, a literature review, a systematic literature review, and with the objective to analyze that how digital uses and AI algorithms driven strategy shaping the modern day political campaigning strategy. And for that, three basic research questions are there. First one is that how modern political strategy evolve. The next one is that how digital uses and AI algorithms driven strategies driving the entire modern day campaigning. And the last one is that how they have been investigated, how the entire literature review have been done. And for this, a widely accepted method that is Prisma. We all know that I used it to extract the entire data. So everybody know from the research background that Mendeley we all use for the referencing method. And through Mendeley, I extracted 65 papers, and out of 65 papers, I finally screened 26 papers. I screened over 26. And for again going for detailed analyzing all these 26 papers, I use thematic analytical framework. That works on the recurring identification on certain pattern they identify the entire theme, and which includes that the 4 themes came out of it. The first one is how the entire modern particle is evolved. The second one is that digital uses, that how in the modern particle democracy, how modern day particle campaigning, what are the role of digital uses. Another one is AI and algorithms, how they use it and how they're impacting on campaigning. And the last one is the methodology they adopted to analyze the entire domain. So, on the basis of thematic analyzing, they evolved the digital, you can say the modern day political campaigning, can be categorized into 3 phases. The first one is the traditional, based on political debate, public rally, and you can say that pamphlet like that. The second one is broadcasting, where television can and it play a crucial role for determining the political campaigning strategy. The third one is the digital era. We all know that everybody has lots of apps on the mobile, and how this consultant use this kind of apps. Now, another one is the digital usage. So, political party and candidate extremely use the digital platform to engage voters by employing rhetorical and emotional messages over there. However, misinformation remain a major challenge in the digital campaigning. AI and algorithm, another thematic one is that AI and algorithm driven strategy has significantly influenced modern political campaigning study. And the study reveals that AI is used to predict voter behavior and analyze real-time data and facilitate voter engagements through chatbots. These chatbots interact with voters, providing instant response and personalized communications. Furthermore, the AI-driven analytics helps political parties refining their messages, target specific voter groups effectively. In the methodological part, scholars have employed qualitative, quantitative, mixed method approaches to analyze modern day political campaigning. However, the study identified critical research gaps. One of which I have already told that how this conference is fixing the gap. And another one is that the longitudinal impact of AI-driven strategy on the democratic participation. How this AI and algorithm is impacting to the democratic participation for the long period of time. Still, this is the research gap, an opportunity the researcher can explore. Despite this contribution, the study faces certain limitations that real voter engagement data is limited, making it difficult to assess the direct impact of digital strategy on voter behavior. And another one is difficulty to isolate the direct impact of digital strategy on voter behavior. What I try to say that the limitation is that due to AI, chatbot is creating political message or contents, whatever, and another political consultancy are also using chatbot. So chatbot is talking to the chatbot, and we are seeing tamasha. Okay, kind of trending here. The trending what they are creating might possible that two chatbot is heavily engaged and they are producing kind of trend they wanted, or we as a follower seeing such kind of tamasha daily. Specifically, I simply try to understand the political daily politics not from paper but by the trends on the Twitter nowadays. And in conclusion, what I can say that modern political campaigning are largely driven by digital tools and AI algorithm approaches. While These strategies have enhanced voter engagement. They also pose risks such as misinformation and manipulation of public opinion, which Noam Chomsky says that is manufacturing the consent of public. Give these challenges a strong regulatory framework is essential to ensure transparency, ethical AI uses, and the protection of democratic integrity. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Any comments or questions? No comment, no question. Thank you very much. And then we have Tahir Sahab. Mr. Tahir, your paper was engagement of manipulation. It's very interesting how manipulation is being done. That we always discuss when we discuss about the general student, the general market, that's what manipulation. And many of the strategists they understand what is being manipulated because they understand this is a new thing and this is going to be for election, presidency or whatever. So this you have also very well highlighted. And it's interesting to understand from your paper, social media roles and all this. It was very interesting. Mr. Shahabuddin is very trying to understand the politics of profession. I mean, it's a very, though we have given you a good time to understand because your paper was, everybody was enjoying it, that I also, the impact on politics we have tried to understand in this thing. But what I wanted to understand from your paper, political consultancy in India, I mean, why political consultancy has become so relevant in India just because of one reason that every political party wants to win and they want to purchase their services and all that. This is probably the reason. But I mean, only one, nobody has touched the position of PK, the PK which has established his graph in India, so probably nobody has touched it. So how we can understand how should we rely on that particular partner? And there are many local people who are talking about the big parties, but I am talking about the local parties which is not very strong. They are not in position to hire the services of the state. Local leaders, not parties, sorry, local leaders are they are interested in understanding their own strategy, their own thing, but they are not in position to understand. So probably they also want to understand how to approach these people and who should be approached. That is also important. And then Subhash is a political consultant in India, consulting experience of national and the regional parties. Subhash was regional parties. Regional parties have their own limitation, but you said you have given the example of DMK and BJP. I just want to, because there is whatever amount money, whatever things they have, their money BJP has, but the Tamil Nadu position is totally different. BJP is nowhere in the. So even despite the fact having good money, having good consultants entire in India, but they are not able to give any impact in the society in the election campaign of Tamil Nadu. Then in what condition we should take the opportunity to take the benefit from these parties, this consultancy? If are they in position to give certain impact to their vote percentage, probably not. That is the one question I wanted to. And then we have collaboration of politics. I think for collaboration of politics, very good comment was made by one of my friends. He was very clearly saying your paper was collaboration was okay, but it was not. It was because it was not read by the original author. It was one of the student where she has read probably, but she has not given much importance to understand both the combined study has not been done. That he wanted to, there should be a combined study, what was the problem, that is not been done. And then Khadija, ma'am, is very new concept. Again, you brought in the moonlighting and all that new concept, Gen Z and all. Whatever the concept is available in the world, nobody is going to untouch this political things. So all things you have to also do with the Gen Z or the moonlighting, it has to be also incorporated in your consultancy. And finally, Anis Akhtar. Anis Akhtar is very, articulatively you have mentioned your paper, how modern politics study AI, role of AI, and they have how they have to investigation. So it was a learning experience for me, and thank you very much, of course, for giving me this opportunity to sit with the giant of the subject. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair, for giving a valuable and deep insight about the subject. We are sorry to limited the time and also not giving opportunity to questions. But मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा, तुम छोड़ चले जो बिना बताए अपना पता, तुम्हारी यादें तुम्हारी कदमों के निशान बाकी रहेंगे. तो मैं इसी नोट पे आपको ये कहना चाहूँगा कि आप अपने क्वेश्चन सवालात डिजिटल फुटप्रिंट्स है, सोशल मीडिया, वहाँ पे आप उनसे कनेक्ट हो सकते हैं. मैं we are very thankful to you and our assistant. Felicitations.